You guys know that for a long time I've been covering Townstar, and there was supposed to be some huge news this week, so much so that they canceled the AMA last week, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, just to focus on this one. And I think everybody was pretty much expecting that they were going to tell us that the earn function has been turned back on. Well, earn was part of the news, but not in a way that's going to make people very happy. The Townstar team announced that it is partnering with Gala Films and a documentary on Gala Films called Common Ground. Part of that change apparently means that the game is going to change its name to Common Ground instead of Townstar and add a whole new game mode to it. Let's look at this. This is very, very interesting. This one I have bookmarked. By the way, I'm going to show you the chat in a second. I wish it was kind of side by side, but the chat will be. We'll go down to the chat once this is finished.
But I just shared there an image. Do we have it in YouTube too? Yeah. Okay, we have it there. Thank you. What? How should I call you? I keep forgetting. Well.
Yeah. By the way, literally nobody asked for this. I don't know why they're changing the name, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But it just seems crazy.
Our trusty technician here in the stream. So what is this that we're sharing? So that's Common Ground, right? So you probably heard it from Benefactor. You know, you've probably seen what film is doing, and what this is a partnership with the filmmakers of documentaries Kiss the Ground and Common Ground. These are really interesting, in-depth, and very successful documentaries on and films on regenerative farming, ecology, ecosystems, and so on. So we're partnering with them in a big effort, throughout Gala. This is super important to Gala and very personally to Benefactor, because it ties into what he believes a lot about ecology and saving the world, stuff like that, which is very important. So this is a Gala-wide effort spearheaded by our friends at Gala Film. So given this change, we are rebranding the game from Townstar to Common Ground World, right? So we're officially in sync with the film. And the important and cool thing to say here is, well, if you check out Kiss the Ground, you'll see that it has been watched 1 billion times. That's billion with a B. And at least 250 million uniques. So that's a lot of people that have watched those films, are expected to watch the second film, Common Ground. So that's part of what we're trying to tap into by this partnership. They're really excited to do this with us, and we're really excited to do it too.
He hasn't gotten to the real news yet. The fact that they're adding a whole new game mode. This is one of the things with their AMAs. They just seem to have no sense of like what people actually care about versus like you can tell me all that background afterwards, but tell me about the changes that affect me first. This just drove me nuts listening to this AMA, and they like really skip over the big. Oh, by the way, we're changing the entire name of the game. By the way, we're just gonna like skip over that, gloss over that really quickly, and like go into detail about this film that I'm sure a lot of people on here know nothing about.
So if you want to support the film, the next one, the sequel, which is called Common Ground, right now, Gala Film has a way for people to pay forward tickets to screenings of the film. So, and also each tier has tons of perks for buyers. I'm gonna drop the link here in Discord. So that's the landing page where you can check out what Gala Film is doing. They're basically selling bundles of tickets that you pay forward, so other people can grab them later on and go see local screenings. So we're trying to help this film, which we think has a really important message, get out to a huge masses of people. So you can check out the first film, Kiss the Ground, now on Netflix. Has been there for a while, and you can be on the lookout for local showings wherever you live for Common Ground, and you can try to claim those tickets from Gala. So there's a claim system for the tickets that have been paid forward in our site. Right? So you can go and say, "Hey, I live New York, California, somewhere where we have early screenings," and you can say, "I want a ticket," and you can try to grab one. So what we're doing is not only changing the name of the game, we're also adding a new game mode, which is a start for our persistent town idea we've talked about before, right? So we said we have the idea for the persistent town. We started working on some other stuff, and then we said we have this partnership, which is pretty cool, and it ties really well into the persistent mode.
By the way, yeah, this is the part we're actually interested in. By the way, though, their current game doesn't work properly. Like, there's still bugs that existed the very first time they switched over to the Godot engine. Still not working. I'll talk about those in a minute. But this just drives me nuts. But they're going to add a new mode. More, it gets better.
So what we're doing is adding a new game mode. I don't know, Vulcan, if you can share the hack main menu that we have right now for it.
Sure. Yeah. Let me paste that up. It's visible in YouTube, and I'll post in Discord in a second. Yeah. So we're adding that third game mode, which Misashi will talk about a little bit.
By the way, I really hope they make a cartoon version of that. It just simply does not fit. It just looks so weird to have like a live action image when you have like a cartoon for everything else. It just makes no sense. What also doesn't make sense that they have like, I don't know if you notice, like the splash screen has kind of a Minecraft looking guy, but then like an actual smooth cartoon character as well. It's pretty weird. But the fact that like this just looks off.
Right. So we are adding a new game mode called Common Ground or Persistent mode. And in this mode, well, it's your town will start very small, like in a corner of the map, and you will have to build up wealth to reclaim tiles around you. Much of the theme of the films is reviving soil. Making sure that um, um, like which ways we have as people and not only individuals but also as institutions and countries to recover uh, spoiled soil and make it be farmable again, right? And help with climate change.
I actually think the game mode idea sounds really good. I think that sounds really interesting. This idea that you have to start in this little square and kind of work yourself out of it as you gain money and you're able to reclaim the soil. I think that's actually a cool game mode. I just think they're out over their skis because their regular game doesn't work properly yet.
So that's part of the game mode. You will be surrounded by this dead earth essentially, and you can build wealth to then revive it and reclaim it, right? So to make it very friendly for new players, because we're expecting a lot of new players to come in, this new game mode will have no gas requirements for trading, no worker wages. There's no leaderboards or stars. This is mostly a casual experience, right? Fast forward will be always on to make it persistent, but it will be the fast one, not the very accurate version that you guys have in competitions that we're still working on, but the very fast one that it's lightning fast, and possibly no proximity effects affecting crops or crafting. We don't want to confuse these new players. It's like, hey, here's just a simple casual experience for farming, and all in all, we're trying to make this new game mode super casual and inclusive to new players. And the idea would be, well, people come in, they kind of like this slow pace thing where they can set up a couple things, come back, try to reclaim some land, expand their town, make some money, and then they can say, well, there's also competitions, right? And that's where they will tie into what you play now and love, which are the hardcore competitions that we have in the current downside. So that's kind of the new game mode that we're working on. And to commemorate this new partnership, we'll also be selling the first upgradable NFTs next week. So,
Oh, there it is. There's the bell ringer. There's why they're doing this, because there's yet another opportunity for them to sell NFTs. Again, the old NFTs that players bought, where they expected to earn from, still not functional. I mean, you can use them to play in the game, but you can't earn anything from them. But they've had numerous bugs that still go unaddressed and aren't fixed. But they always got time to make new NFTs to make money off players that they're not delivering for. I don't have a problem with people making money, but they're making money from players without providing the core experience that they promised. The game is still in beta. It's still a beta game. It has never not been in beta mode. It switched over to Godot and maybe like reverted to an alpha build. It was so buggy. But now it's back to, I would say it's back to about beta, but there's still bugs that have not been fixed. But they got time for NFTs. Just want to point that out.
We'll have 2 new NFTs next week. The first upgradable NFTs, also the first NFTs in Gala Chain. There will be the composting facility and the Common Ground Academy. I won't go into much detail about what they do. We'll give that information next week. But both will be sold at level 1, and you can get both of them for $10. And a portion of that will go to charity, right? We're trying to support the charities and the work that Common Ground is doing, so that's part of that effort. The upgrade system is in the works still. Like, you will get the level 1 NFTs, and you won't be able to upgrade them yet, but that will come down the line. The important thing is that we're not leaving competitions behind. We're not just shelving the old game. What we'll have is this game mode, which is casual, and we'll still have the competition system, which will work exactly as it works right now. So next week we'll have vanilla meta with Gala rewards as we adapt to the new changes and hopefully the new people that are coming in. So that's the news on the persistent mode.
But it's not the big news yet. Just wait for.
I'm catching up with what Vulcan is saying in Discord. Let's see. Yeah. So this new game mode is slightly different from what you're experiencing. The competitions are very fast paced, very hardcore. This is not that. This is supposed to be slow paced. More relaxing. People can do a couple things, come back a couple hours later, and then add a new building or set something up. More like a farmville game or an old type of casual game. But hopefully some of them will go and say, "Oh, I also want to participate in competitions because that sounds fun," and they'll get into the rabbit hole that you love right now, which is hardcore competing, Gala, NFTs, and so on. So that's the information on Common Ground. That's a big news, big marketing push coming from the top. Very important to Gala and Benefactor. Please check out Gala Film. You can buy those paid forward bundles, so you can help the film, you can help the message, and you can get some really cool perks with that. Let's see. Am I missing something, Farmer Michelle?
Not that I can think of. I think you mentioned everything.
Okay. So what's next?
Let me see here. I think we're going to talk a little bit about what we know about the tokenomics and the light paper.
Yes. Okay. So this is a little of great news. Basically, we have the tokenomics in draft, but since we're doing this big change, we had to stop some of that because most of the companies working in this partnership, be it Gala Film, us, everybody else. So we also want to check how the changes to the game.
That's great news. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, there it is. That's the great news. I think that's what he said. It's hard to hear him, and he's got really bad audio, but that's right. They are focusing on, and I'm sorry it took so long to get there. I actually had it bookmarked, I thought, but I didn't. But they're actually, because they're doing this, they are pushing off the earn function again. Now it's going to be pushed back to God knows when. Because they're going to be working on this thing, and it's not like it's finished. So they're going to be working on this thing for a while, which means it's just not going to happen. So all those people that spent thousands of dollars on NFTs, they're basically useless except to play a game that apparently isn't even going to be called Townstar anymore. I think that's really stupid. I think the game name change is really stupid. Townstar was a great name. I enjoyed it as Townstar. I'm annoyed that it's going to be called Common Grounds because that doesn't make a lot of sense for a game like this. Townstar made more sense. Like I actually kind of like the idea of the game mode. I think it sounds really fun. I think it's a good idea. I just don't think they're ready for it because you've got too many bugs. You got to fix your core game first, guys. You got to fix it. And anybody who tells them in the Discord, by the way, they just get booted. They just boot out anybody who points out that, hey, maybe you guys should fix your core product first. Just a thought. Gala does so much that make me angry about Web3 games. I think I like the one thing I like about Champions Arena is at least they launched a game that was functional from day one instead of this whole, oh, we'll just release a buggy game and then we'll fix it later. That's nobody wants that. Nobody asked for this change. I forgot I was going to show you the reaction to this. I think this is really funny. But yeah, this is not how you want to do Web3 games. Let's see what people had to say. People were saying, looking forward to this. Well, I just saw a short of Play to Earn, so I thought that was put on to work. So movie, not P2E. Aha, false hope. First name says boring. First name says big news is a sales pitch for tickets. Yup. Where's BB? I don't know what that is. Afrofusion Kitchen says F off, sales. Yep. Mr. Z says, oh, great. Advertisement for more NFT for sales. No info on earnings for the NFTs. Everyone bought for the game. Yeah, no, actually there was info. The info is like, screw you. And we're going to do this other thing. And we don't care that Earn has been off for more than a year now. And we'll get around to it. Everyone's going to work on this other project instead. So, and then first name says, looks like an in-game advertisement. It basically was. So I think everyone was expecting actual news on Earn, the Earn function, that it was going to get turned back on. And instead, Mr. Z says, watching this was a complete waste of time. Yeah, their AMAs are usually a complete waste of time. They don't answer anything specific. But also like they could put all this in a blog and be done in 2 minutes. They make everyone sit through these hour-long AMAs to get the most basic news items that you could get from, like, especially with the information with Godot. I mean, it took forever to get it was so hard to piece together the info because you had to basically have watched every AMA, which is hours and hours. So it was really hard to report on. It was really frustrating. This is yet one more frustrating move from Townstar that has just made a series of frustrating moves.